Hey everyone, I'm VW Roses, and I'm here with something that I wrote up about a year or two ago. Now, I'd done a video about this before, but unfortunately due to circumstances that video is gone. But I'm here to do a new one, and it's called Stuck in Traffic. That's right, it's the title called Stuck in Traffic, The Loves of Sonic and Sally. Now you probably ask yourself, why did I write something like this? Well, it's because a lot of people have been talking about well, not a lot of people, but one of the hottest topics people like to talk about sometimes, either they like to admit it or not, is the romances and relationships that take place in Sonic the Hedgehog, the comic book, that is. So, I'd like to kind of explain to you the love specifically for Sonic and Sally. Now, you might say, well, Sonic's got more than Sally, and you're right, but Sally's had her share. Now, let's start, shall we? Now, since the days of Sat-Am and the early issues of the Sonic comic book, Sonic the Hedgehog Archie comic book, one thing has always been consistent, and that is the love that Sonic and Sally have for each other. But just like any couple in television and in mostly comic books and other kind of media, they have had different loves in their lives as well. For example, let's start with Sally. The first love she had besides Sonic was Geoffrey St. John. You see, in 1995, Archie Comics presented Princess Sally with her own 3-part comic book miniseries, which introduced a new character in Geoffrey St. John, who turned out to be the leader at the time, and I don't know if he still is, of the Underground Rebellion, and thus helped Sally defeat Robotnik and destroy Robotnik's animatronic factory. In other words, he helped Sally destroy Sally and the rookie or freedom fighters in training at the time destroy the animatronic factory that Robotnik had. Now, at the same time, doing so at the same time, at the same time in doing so, he wins her heart and shares a tender kiss with her at the end of the Princess Sally miniseries, in which Sally quotes in the final panels of the miniseries, "Where one heart is, there is now two." Fortunately, Sally realizes and informs St. John in the 48-page special Brave New World that her heart still always had and will belong to Sonic. Now, however, I know Geoffrey being heartbroken, and then later on during the whole situation with Eliza's being king temporarily while the king was sick, not like he is now, St. John, would use that to his advantage probably to get Sally to go with him again, but whatever. However, after all that, St. John would not be out of love for long, and thus a few years back, I don't know if it was 2-3 years, finally fell in love and married Hershey the cat, who had feelings for him from the first time she saw him. So in other words, Geoffrey St. John, even though he was Sally's first love, and even after Sally informed him and he saw it for himself that she still cared and loved Sonic, wouldn't be out of love forever, because as we all saw, he married Hershey the cat, who had feelings for him from the very beginning. Now, we start out with Amy Rose, one of Sonic's loves, one of the other loves of Sonic's life, or in this case, would-be love. Now, Amy Rose, just as she was in the games in which she was introduced, Amy's love for Sonic was, and still is at times, more of a schoolgirl crush that within time grew into something more, and that's if you look at Sonic X and some of the other comics. Now, I know a lot of you have argued the fact that in the comic book adaptation of Sonic Adventure, Amy changed her appearance not so that she could go on a mission with Sonic and the Freedom Fighters to Station Square, but to try and finally get Sonic to herself. Now this, however, did not work, nor is it the case, as it is sometimes nowadays. For Amy's intentions may have been in that area, and still are, at times. She has come to terms that if she is going to be older, then she needs to act older and accept that Sonic will be nothing more than a friend to her. Well, yeah, that's what I thought at the time when I wrote this, But then again, now we see things have changed. Sure, in Sonic X, she still retains her... Now, sure, in the Sonic X series, she still retains her crush and love for Sonic, even to the point that in one of the very first episodes of the third season, I think the very first episode, she refers to Sonic as her boyfriend. And although Sonic may differ with that statement. Now, another love of Sonic's life, Mina Mongoose. Now, Mina was introduced in the 76th issue of the Sonic the Hedgehog comic. And since then, it's become one of the most popular and beloved, if not controversial, to some fans, most disliked character in the past few years. The reason for all that, was because Mina started to develop strong feelings for Sonic right after the Sonic Adventure story had taken place. In the comic book, in the comic book, Mina had discovered that she had super speed similar to Sonic's, and thought that since they had that in common, they were destined for each other. But Mina was in for quite a surprise. You see, when Mina first tried to kiss Sonic on the lips as a bit of a thank you for showing her and teaching her how to control her speed and thus show him how she felt about him, in return she had Sonic looking at him with an expression of surprise and question of, what are you doing? Now Mina would later find out when Sonic went to rescue Sally from Knack, the Resource Gang, that as she tagged along to help, she would see Sonic and Sally embrace and share a tender kiss. Even though Mina was upset with herself for not realizing Sonic and Sally still had feelings for each other, she made a vow to do anything for Sonic and proved that when she nearly gave her life to save Sally for Sonic. Nowadays, Mina has found a new love in her stage manager, Ash Mongoose, who, like Mina before him, nearly gave his life to save her. And I will be back with part 2.